Hello! Now, if you're learning a language and you've reached intermediate level or beyond, it's possible that you still want to keep learning and practicing, but you find Duolingo a bit too easy, a bit too restrictive, and just not challenging enough. I understand the feeling. I've been learning and using Spanish on and off for about 20 years, and although my level's high, I know there's still a lot of new vocabulary I could learn, and I could generally feel more confident when I speak. But I've reached a point where almost all language learning apps are far too easy for me. And Duolingo in particular has very little focus on realistic speaking practice. And let's face it, no one ever got a job or made friends or fell in love with someone only using the language and skills they learnt on Duolingo. If you're someone who's serious about living or working in a foreign language, you need more than what that green owl can offer you. So today I'm going to tell you about an app called Spoken, which I think can offer you exactly what you need. Now, I should say that at the moment this app is only available for Spanish and English. But if you're learning another language, check the description because I'll put an update there if your language gets added. So this app was developed by me and my co-founder. I've been working in language learning technology for more than 15 years. I have a degree in linguistics and phonetics, and I'm a qualified teacher of English as a foreign language. So now I'll talk you through all of Spoken's great features that are especially designed for intermediate and advanced levels. The speaking activities in Spoken are different to Duolingo and more challenging because you're not just saying sentences that you read off the screen or are told to translate. In Spoken's activities, you need to form your own sentences from nothing. You have complete freedom to express the thoughts you have in your head, just like you're required to do in the real world. So each day in the app you see a random topic and you have 10 seconds to start speaking about it, and you can speak for up to a minute. We added the 10-second countdown to imitate the pressure that there is in real life conversation to answer immediately without taking too long to think. Now, just the act of speaking and being on topic is a good enough practice in itself and will help you get more fluent and comfortable. But we know that people love to find out what mistakes they made. Now, in reality, mistakes don't always matter as long as you communicated your ideas successfully. But we do give the option to see the mistakes you made, corrected by AI. There are a lot of language learning chatbot apps that also do this. But what's different in Spoken, which I think is more useful, is instead of continuing the chat and immediately forgetting about the mistakes you just made, in Spoken, the focus is on trying again to say the same thing without so many mistakes. And you get a score for your first try and second try, so you could compare the two and see if you improved. Okay, next, writing. If you want to practice expressing your thoughts with a bit more time to think, you can do a writing task. It's similar to the speaking, but here the topic is only a suggestion. You can write anything you want and take your time to look up words. You then also get mistakes corrected, and you can click some mistakes to see an explanation. Next, listening. Now, the listening experience in Spoken is very different to Duolingo and other language learning apps. The key difference is that you're hearing native speakers of the language. And not only that, they aren't reading scripts. It's real recordings of them talking naturally in real conversation. I think the problem with Duolingo and any language app that uses AI voices is that AI voices are much easier to understand than real voices. They're usually based on a very standard neutral accent, and they don't contain any of the nuances that pop up in real human speech. In Spoken, each day you get a short clip of a native speaker First, you have to just listen, and when you've finished, you get to see a transcript. Then you can click some of the more difficult words to see a meaning. And you can also pick out certain words or phrases that you had trouble understanding to listen to those in isolation. And finally, there's a new feature that we only added more recently, and we're still developing it to make it as useful as possible. We call it vocabulary playlists. Here, the idea is that you take a list of words you need to learn and practice, but instead of having to sit down and swipe through the lists in flashcards or read the list in a notebook, you can just press play on a playlist and listen to the words and their translation with a pause in between for you to think or say the word. This means that you can test yourself without having to look at a phone or a notebook, and you can even do other things at the same time, like walking or driving or cleaning. We have some exciting ideas for what else we want to do in this feature. You'll be pleased to know that you don't need to register and create an account in the app. You just need to download it, and within about 2 taps, you're already doing your first activity. Okay, so you can download this app right now for iOS and Android.